Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. It is my honor to be here with all of you today. And before I get started, I just wanted to say a special hello to some people around the globe. Um, Milwaukee is formally and legally related to 8 cities across Europe, Africa, and Asia as a means of promoting people-to-people diplomacy. And these cities are sometimes referred to as sister cities. So if we have anybody from these cities, welcome, and a special hello to you as well. So a couple things here before I get started and dive into how we use MonsoonSIM and some of the design considerations and integrations that we use in our programs. I wanted to start off at a macro level with a little bit about UW-Milwaukee and how we do what we do. So the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, it's a major public research university here in the United States, in the state of Wisconsin. We're the largest university in the Milwaukee metropolitan area, and we have more than 200 academic programs, 20,000 students, 15 schools and colleges, as well as 2 associate degree granting campuses in the region. We do have a dual mission, which is pretty unique to us, which is access and research. So we help people who have that dream of going to college. We help them make that dream come true and get them the opportunities and the skills they need to be successful in college. We also support activities to promote the economic development of not only the state, but the region, and really meet the diverse needs of Wisconsin's largest metropolitan area. One of the things we're most proud of at UWM is that we've earned Research 1 status from the Carnegie Classification of Institutions of Higher Education. We're only one of 32 institutions nationwide, and the only one in Wisconsin to be recognized as having this high research status. We have high access, high research, and high community engagement is what we're known for. And some notable alumni, Satya Nadella, the current CEO of Microsoft, attended UW-Milwaukee. Golda Meir, the 4th Prime Minister of Israel, also attended UW-Milwaukee. Alberto Fujimori, the 62nd president of Peru, who unfortunately passed away last year, is also an alumni. And an American actor by the name of Willem Dafoe, who you may be familiar with, has also been an attendee, has attended UW-Milwaukee. Lubar College of Business is located right in the center of our campus, and we have been AACSB accredited since 1970. And less than 5% of the world's business programs in existence are accredited by AACSB. And we're not only accredited in business, we are accredited in accounting, which only about 20% of the AACSB accredited schools have this additional accreditation. Our focus is on leading through analytics and innovation. And we do get a nice boost in that with our 40,000 alumni, most of which who still live here in the Wisconsin area. So that really helps us work towards that mission of maintaining our wonderful business community here and helping it thrive in Milwaukee. Lubar Executive Education, we're broken into 2 pieces. We have our 4-credit programs, which would be like our executive MBA program, of which I'm a graduate. And then we have our non-credit programs, which I lead. And we started this area in the year 2000, so we're 25 years old this year. And we're solely focused on helping the business community succeed, which should in turn help the regional ecosystem succeed. We're dedicated to the success of our clients and their executives, past, present, and future. We have 2 types of offerings that we have. We have the 4-credit offering again and the non-credit offerings. With non-credit, we split that into 2 areas. We have some open enrollment programs, which make up about 20% of our business, which anybody can sign up for. And then 80% of our business is actually creating custom business acumen, leadership, business type development experiences for leaders. We are blessed to have a lot of multinational organizations headquartered here that we've worked with in the past 25 years and currently still work with. Here's just a few of the organizations that we have worked with. We also work with quite a bit quite a large number of mid-sized businesses, family businesses, small businesses, and we do some work with entrepreneurs that are looking to get past the startup phase and grow their business to something bigger. And the audience that we spend most of our time with is what I call the high potential leader. This is a somewhat unique group, so I wanted to spend just a couple of minutes here talking about what that group is like, since it's going to have some bearing on why we use simulations and how we use simulations. And high potential leaders, they're probably to no surprise to anybody on this webinar, they're results oriented. They have huge time constraints. They are called upon to do so many things on any given day. They're also very competitive. We find that this audience has very strong opinions, and they're not afraid to challenge instructors or facilitators, whoever's in front of the room. They want practical frameworks versus theory. They're looking for new and helpful tools for their leadership and management toolkit. They love best practices and real life true stories. They do demand customization. They want to be able to tie what we're talking about in practice and in theory, into their world. How does this really apply to what they're doing, and how can this help them? Also, feedback is something that they know they don't get enough of, and most want the feedback. Some do struggle with receiving that feedback a little bit, so we help them with that. The other thing too, just in general, is that they need all this stuff yesterday. They don't want to waste their time if they're going to be out of the business and out of the sales cycle or away from their clients. They sometimes come to us, and I'm sad to say that they feel like it's almost a punishment that they're sent to our programs, because they have all this work to do. They're working on big initiatives for their companies, and then they have to take time out and spend multiple days in a pretty intense training program. Usually by the end of those programs, they turn around and they say, this was really helpful, and it definitely wasn't a punishment. But these drawings you see on the screen here, hopefully you've had a chance to take a look at them by now. These are from our actual program participants, and we often ask them at the beginning of a program to draw what their day or week looks like. And as you can see, they're pretty telling. This drawing in particular is one of my personal favorites and most memorable ones, because it really captures what it's like for these high potential executives to lead in a volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous world. This exercise really also helps us get this group of people that we have to realize that as accomplished and as talented they are, they do have the opportunity to grow and make these pictures and their days and weeks a little better, not only for themselves, but for the people who work with them. So another thing we do at the beginning of a program is we really try to get participants to look in the mirror and talk about the need to get them a little bit uncomfortable. Because as adults, we want to be in our comfort zone, which is that blue circle on the left. And we need them to get into that yellow circle. We need to get them a little bit uncomfortable, because that's how adults learn. And we do this by assuring them that, this is the safest environment that they're ever going to get to make some mistakes. And mistakes are really some of the best teachers that we could ever have. And we'd much rather have them make mistakes here in the classroom so we can talk about it and learn from each other and learn from what we maybe don't do as well as we'd like to do, than make mistakes back in their organizations when the consequences and the stakes are much higher and the impact could be much more negative. So we spend a lot of time up front trying to get people comfortable and just asking them to lean in to some of what we have them going to be doing, and lean into the fact that we're going to push them a little bit out of their comfort zone. Because after all, why should we teach like the left side of the screen all the time, where we're just giving theory and lecturing to people? That's more of a one-way type of learning. At this level, we want learning to really, be more dynamic and have some realistic elements to it, and have people drive their own learning whenever possible. And that's where MonsoonSIM comes into play and does a really wonderful job, which I'll be talking about here momentarily. One of the other most compelling reasons that we use simulations like MonsoonSIM in our programs is to really extend and solidify new knowledge and skills. There's that, hopefully we all know what the forgetting curve is, which is basically, you know, by being human, a lot of things are going to fall out of our brains, and we're not going to retain a lot of information that's new to us unless we are really actively participating and listening and watching and actually learning by doing. We don't know when participants are going to run across some of the challenges that we might talk about in our programs. They might run into something down the road, uh, a week from now, a day from now, or maybe 6 months from now. Hopefully, they have a better chance of reminding or remembering things from our program and things that can help them uh, if we use simulations. So now to get a little more specific, I wanted to share an example of one of our programs and how we integrate simulations and content into our content and storyline. And the program I selected is our flagship open enrollment program, which we call Strategic Leadership Series, also known as SLS. And SLS, we've been doing this for about 25 years now. It was the first program that started executive education here in Milwaukee. And we do it once or twice a year, and we're always evolving this program. So now it's a hybrid delivery where we've got some in-person days combined with some virtual days. We have 3 simulations now, and our next iteration starts at the end of September and is going to run through December. So you see our dates here on the screen. The original version of the program had 1 simulation, which was a capstone case, a written case to end the program. And it was typically either a merger and acquisition scenario or a business turnaround scenario or a mix of the two. And for years, we conducted that in 1 day. We now spread it over 3 days while integrating a little bit of additional content along the way to help participants be successful in creating the deliverables we ask them for throughout the simulation. Currently, we're using a written case from the Asia Case Research Center, and we've added to it, making it more robust, challenging, intense, and realistic. So it brings in all of today's, it happens to be a global scenario where we bring into all the geopolitical challenges that are happening, economic challenges, and such. So there's really no right answer. The second generation of the program, we added a online supply chain simulation to highlight our Supply Chain Management Institute here at UW-Milwaukee. And this occupied the better part of what is now day 3. It was a little harder to integrate into the storyline before COVID hit because not as many business people and people in general were as interested in supply chain. COVID definitely changed that, and we knew we needed to come up with something better. So we started searching for a better solution than what we had. While we were doing that search, we found a short simulation to add to our change management content, and that's here on day 2, highlighted at the end of day 2. And we use a short simulation from Harvard Business Publishing. This is a nice addition because it only takes about 45 minutes for participants to complete, and it aligns really nicely to the framework for change that we use in the content portion of our change management module. It also gets people warmed up for the bigger simulation and for MonsoonSIM, which takes place the next day. And then, as I mentioned, we had that supply chain management simulation that was good, but not really creating that full impact we needed. So after a lot of trials and errors and going back to the drawing board, we came up with the concept of what we call the executive test drive. And understanding our audience are people who are not quite at that C-suite level yet or that senior vice president level, but want to be and are working towards that. We wanted to give them a chance to feel what is it like to be a C-level leader, while at the same time give a nod to our Supply Chain Management Institute. And getting to the right solution for this definitely took a while. So some of the things we looked at are here on this screen. And stable technology, that goes without saying. You got to have that. We have to know that the simulation is going to work and be ready for us when we need it. Manageable learning curve. This is where we struggled quite a bit until we found MonsoonSIM. We only have about 6 hours devoted in our program to this simulation and this executive test drive. And we've used some other simulations that are more complex to learn. Uh, and what happens is once you get into the competition rounds and actually using it, we would have some people with these other simulations, they would make mistakes clicking on things. For example, we had one person, they ordered way too much raw materials for something for their business, and they accidentally bankrupted their team. So their team was out not because they made a poor business decision, but because they didn't know which buttons to click in the system. So we tried to find something that was still robust, yet not something that was going to create a disastrous result while they're playing, while they're participating in the simulation. Also, we wanted it to be simple to understand from a conceptual level, but also complex to execute and perform well. So, we've had some participants talk about some of our other simulations where they said, "Well, I could figure out the algorithm and I could just game the system because I know what it's looking for, and I could do that pretty easily." So we wanted to find something, and also I should say, when we use a published case study, a lot of times people can Google the answer to it. Or they could use AI to figure out what really happened or what the right answer is. So we wanted to find something that doesn't have a set answer, yet is easy enough to understand. And MonsoonSIM does a really amazing job with that. Under the should have and nice to have items, of course, readily available tech support. That's kind of a table stake. You need to have that. Reasonable cost definitely helps as well to keep the cost down for our clients and our customers. We also wanted, if we could find a simulation that would keep up with the times. And, we're now on version 12 of MonsoonSIM. So it definitely keeps up with all the different things that happen in the world, which is great, where a lot of simulations don't. And one of the things that really I'm going to touch on here more in a second is the multifaceted learning outcomes. We wanted to, get as much as we could out of this and have this land in as many places as possible from a learning outcome standpoint. From a nice to have as well, the ability to play games on your own was definitely a huge plus for us, and we can do that now with MonsoonSIM, so people can reinforce their learning on their own after they're spending time in the classroom with us. And then also, how do we, with the advent of AI, and how can we integrate that more and get some real data out of a system that we can play with and have participants extend their learning into other areas with something that they've created on their own through the game. So back to, I just want to take a moment and talk about potential learning outcomes. And this is a slide that Abdy's letting me use here, so thank you, Abdy. If you look at this graphic, this is where you can see all the possible learning outcomes that MonsoonSIM can give you and can generate. And many other simulations have that set landing point or that focus, which can be valuable for depending on what you want to do. As I said, we use that supply chain game, which was great for supply chain specific outcomes, but didn't quite get into other aspects of business, such as like P&L management or things like that, or marketing. We also used a simulation called ERP Sim. So if your organization uses ERP, ERP Sim is great because it's literally ERP. You're using exactly what it is. The downside is very complex for a day-long experience. And this is where you get people clicking on things because incorrectly because they don't understand ERP, not because they don't understand business. So, having a lot of potential for learning outcomes can, of course, does require a facilitator that can bring everything together. And that's one of our challenges as instructors, and it's a fun challenge for us to meet because we pay attention to everything that's happening during a simulation, not just what results they're getting. We're paying attention to how people are reacting to the different situations we're putting them in, how they're reacting to the stress, and as well as what are their business results. And then we bring this all together and we touch on probably all but maybe 3 or 4 of these learning outcomes you see on the screen when we use MonsoonSIM. So it's a really robust debrief that we do, and I'll talk about how we do that here in just a minute. And it's what makes all the difference, is what we've found since we started using MonsoonSIM. Really creates a much more powerful learning experience and a memorable experience for our learners. So now that we know where we want participants to end up, which is somewhere, tapping into as many of those learning outcomes as possible, let's talk about how we actually get there. And MonsoonSIM has an impressive amount of configuration capability, which is something we really like about it. And one of the things, though, that I'll say is that we ran up against early that I wanted to call out is there's a desire, or we had a desire to try to recreate the business of our clients almost full scale. And we learned pretty quickly that while in many cases we can get pretty close to recreating a business, it might not be the best idea from a learning standpoint. And this is where we really got to be, tuned into what do our clients want and expect. And a lot of times we have to now help them understand that we don't have to recreate the business 100%, because we're always going to get those one or two participants that get caught up in the fact that, well, this is really close, but our business is a little bit different. And then they kind of turn us off. It can really be more valuable to give participants an experience that they can relate to, maybe as a customer or in business. So for example, MonsoonSIM, we use the juice configuration. So selling juices in a retail location as well as wholesale, that's pretty much easy for everybody to understand. And then they can just focus on their business knowledge to, and such. When we do the debrief, this is when we start tying everything together, and we actually have the participants talk about how do they tie what they learned from the participation in the simulation back to their business. And we help them with that discussion. And then one final element here before I dive into how we specifically teach MonsoonSIM. One additional element we add into our programs is pressure. And going back to those days of what does our participants look like in those pictures that I shared earlier, we start kind of priming the group by telling them, hey, we're going to keep score, and this is going to be challenging, and it's going to go fast, and you're going to be competing for prizes. And once we have high potential employees in the room, most of them are pretty competitive, which makes it a little bit easier to dial up the pressure on them. All right, so now specifically in regards to MonsoonSIM, to get everybody up to speed quickly on how to use it and to use it properly without mistakes, we walk them through the steps, and we use the modeling method of instruction. We get everybody logged in as pre-work, so we don't spend a lot of time in the classroom doing that part because we know they can do it. But once we get into MonsoonSIM, we talk about the screen layout and the navigation. Then we'll have them everybody in the room establishes their own retail footprint. They purchase finished goods for that retail footprint. Then they review the dashboard, and we start seeing here's the impact of whatever they just did on their finances and on their business. We teach them how to adjust prices. Then we teach them how to market and try to attract more people to their locations. We also then talk about the forecast, since MonsoonSIM does help people out a little bit and give them an idea of what the demand is going to look like, which is nice to have, so they can do some planning. And all along the way, we have them kind of start over each time. So we'll teach a block of functionality, like establishing that retail location, buying some finished goods. And then when we go to the next set of options, we're going to have them start over and practice again. They're going to rebuild their retail, buy the finished goods, then they can do some adjustment on pricing and such. Once they have their absolute basics down, we start talking about expansion and growth. So how do they establish a warehouse? How do they buy some finished goods for that? Again, watching this dashboard all along the way. Then how do you move inventory? If you've got a warehouse set up, how do you get that inventory where you need it to your retail locations as quickly as possible and as efficiently as possible? We then add in the complexity of, well, instead of just buying finished goods, how do you purchase machines, purchase the raw materials, get that production going? We'll also integrate, again, the wholesale demand, which is a nice feature that we have. And then finally, once people have that expansion and growth down, we talk to them about some additional levers that they can use to generate revenue, which is using business-to-business sales as well as e-commerce and such. We also talk about a scorecard, which is one of the also really nice features about MonsoonSIM, is we can create scorecards that will drive behavior. So people won't just be focused on generating revenue or generating profit. They're going to have to do it the correct way. They're going to have to do it in an environmentally friendly way. They're going to have to do it in a way where they they might get penalized for having too small of a footprint and having too much finished goods in it or such. So we give them a little bit of, some guardrails to operate their business. So within 75 to 90 minutes, participants are ready to compete. The first practice round is really about getting comfortable with the functionality and clicking on the buttons in the right way so they don't accidentally make a disastrous decision that bankrupts them because they didn't understand what they were doing. We also give them a chance, this is your chance to get a feel for the speed for the simulation because we run days at around 25 seconds per day in the simulation, sometimes 30 seconds, but usually it's 25 because we want to dial up that pressure. We give them a chance to figure out what questions that they need to answer or need to get answered from us before we go to competition. Our second practice round's a little bit longer. We spend about 30 to 45 minutes doing that. This is where they start working as a team and really need to start taking a look at what is the competition doing now that they understand how to execute their business and how to create things and how to move things around. What is their strategy going to be? What are the competitors doing? What is the market doing? And then we throw them right into competition. So we'll give them about 60 to 75 minutes of competition in 2 rounds. The first round, we start giving them a little bit of vendor reliability problems where their vendors are not always have stock, or they might not deliver things when they say they're going to, which happens in real life. We give them some minor penalties for inventory imbalances or stock outages. We'll also throw a little bit of weaker customer loyalty and see if they respond with some marketing. A new feature that we now have access to is player disruption, where we can take people out of the game automatically or randomly, I should say, to simulate sick days or family emergencies, things like that. And we'll also touch on maybe a little minor economic crisis. After that round, we'll give teams a chance to debrief. And then when we do the second competition round, that's when we really dial up the pressure and we give them major penalties for mistakes, low customer loyalty, and we throw a major economic crisis at them and see how they respond. So after our after our competition rounds take place, we get a really good, robust debrief discussion going. And this is where all the learning comes together. And we have 3 main topics that we talk about. The first is in business learning. So, what can you learn about just business in general and from this simulation? Maybe teams didn't notice the market shifts or the economic challenges quickly enough. Maybe they expanded a little too early and didn't have the cash flow to survive a downturn. Maybe they didn't put their cash to work. A lot of times people are used to being told, we've got to cut the budget. We've got to cut the budget. We don't have enough money. You got to save your money. A growing business needs cash and is going to eat cash pretty quickly. So maybe they didn't use enough cash, and that's going to be an impact to their shareholders or their stakeholders. Maybe they didn't pay attention to the P&L as enough when expenses were being made and they went bankrupt. Or maybe they just didn't use all the levers they could have and they relied too heavily on vendors and got stuck when times got tough. The second aspect is leadership. So how can you learn about leading organizations, or what can you learn from this? Maybe one of the things people learn quickly is their original strategy and tactics will probably need to be updated very quickly as things start unfolding. It's also very quickly learned that it's easy to lose focus when things are moving fast. Back to those pictures that we had them draw on the first day. It's all about communication is something that comes through really well in this simulation. This business is not nearly as complex as the ones that they're living in, but it's new and it's tough, and they're working with people they don't know, so that helps almost even out the complexity of real life versus the simulation. And what they'll find is that it's easy to get frustrated at people who are sitting right next to you. You got a couple people you're working on a team with, and you're making mistakes, and you're trying as hard as you can, but it's easy to get frustrated at people sitting next to you. And when you think about when you get back to your organization, especially if you're a global organization, it's very easy to get mad at people half a world away because something went wrong, because they ran out of stock or something's late. And it's easy for us to do that as leaders. And how can we get better about empathy? And how can we get better about our own emotional intelligence? And then the last part of our debrief discussion is focused around how can you learn about more of yourself as an individual, excuse me. How do you conduct yourself when it's pressure or when you're stressed? Is that the same experience that you want people to have? Are you too competitive? From a business standpoint, are you taking enough risks? Are you taking too many risks? Things like that all come out in these discussions, and people end up leaving with a lot of different areas in which they can celebrate where they're strong, as well as figure out, here's some opportunities for me to grow. An additional key to success in using a simulation like MonsoonSIM is to having facilitators that will provide feedback to the participants as a group and individually where possible. We also ask participants to give peer-to-peer feedback. We talk about sharing one strength that somebody brought to the simulation, as well as one area of opportunity that they can consider to be more impactful in the future. Self-reflection is part of this, as well as committing to some sort of actions to get better in the future is part of this. And again, we're accomplishing this in just a handful of hours. We also do a secondary review from a learning team standpoint. So anybody involved in facilitating the simulation will review the participant feedback. We'll discuss our observations and takeaways and discuss how we can improve for next time. And then finally here, before I turn it back to Abdy, this really sets us up. When somebody goes through one of these experiences with us, we now can extend that simulation if they want back in their organizations. We can come to them, we can add more rounds, and we can go deeper into complexity with more functionality that MonsoonSIM has. We can look at some of the integrated reporting from the simulation that they did participate in, and we can run that through AI to do some different types of analysis and really bolster their skills with AI as well as data analysis. Finance and accounting, there's some great features in this that we can use to help round out some of the finance skills that these executives have. And we can also even do some team building and some competition stuff with a little bit of learning in there too. So the possibilities really open up quite a bit on how you can use MonsoonSIM and how we use it, and how we use it to really help people have a little bit of fun, but also drive a lot of learning in the process. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing, and I appreciate you listening to me here for about 30 minutes.
Thank you all very much. My name is Abdy Taminsyah, and as Anissa mentioned, I'm the product lead for this. So I mostly from the product angle, yeah. MonsoonSIM is a platform where you can facilitate, you can configure business scenario and teach. Okay, so this is what I think Mike has gone through earlier. So today we have about 300 universities or organizations using it. We have about 3,000 facilitators globally, and we have about 70,000 courses that have been run and participated by over 150,000 players or learners. And every day, MonsoonSIM, we see about 22,000 transactions being executed by the people that are using MonsoonSIM globally. There are multiple playing modes or teaching modes in MonsoonSIM. You can simulate it, where you can teach by simulating, so your student can see it, right? And also you can play it, which then they can experience it. Okay, the simulation means that you can step through the transaction, and then you can show them certain concept if you like. But that is good. It's better than learning from slides, because now you can see the cause and effect. But it would be even better if you can play it, because then they can experience it. So I think there's a distinct difference between simulation and gamification. Now, in MonsoonSIM, you can teach in either way. And it's highly configurable. You can configure your products, locales, the business types, the processes, and also the AIs. I will talk a lot about AI today. Now, the products, by default, it comes with five product set, I would say. Okay, you can play the juice, you can play the coffee drinks, you can play the medical masks, you can play the automobiles and gadgets, but you can also define your own product. All right. So I am sure, like with experienced facilitator like Mike, he can, if he like to, can configure his own product, having its own dimension, having its own costing, having its own breakdown, the bill of material, and so on. So you can do that. And the locales in MonsoonSIM, we support multiple locations. You can take your student to do business in Asia, in Europe, in Africa, in Australia. So it gives the student many perspectives, all right? Because every location has different attributes, such as the buying power and such as the unit of measurement. And the business types, you can start with retail. You can have a combination of retail and wholesales. You can have wholesales alone. You can also include manufacturing if you like, and you can add in e-commerce. You can do services, and you can do more. And we'll be doing a lot more. We'll be introducing a lot of business types coming soon, financials and also services and so on. But these are the basic business types that you can configure in your game and let the student experience them. Now, it really doesn't matter what business type it is, depending on what you teach, right? If you're teaching accounting, for example, any of these business types is actually quite fun, because there's a lot of financial numbers and there's a lot of, but then if you really want to teach something like operation management, then you probably want to make it a little bit more, complex, if you like. If you teach industrial, like, and so on, then you can add more concepts. Now, depending on the types, of course, then the process is different, yeah? Because if it's just a simple, financial game like startup to IPO, then it's probably you can just have a good retail business and they still can go IPO. But if you like to, so it depends, right? Depends on the type, then it comes with the process. We have been in business for about 12 years now. So we started with a very simple retail business simulation, and then we advanced into trading and then ERP, the entire extended ERP plus sustainability, and we have integrated reporting and data analytics, and then we have this R&D, fast-moving consumer goods. We have step through, and also we have startup to IPO. Currently, I can see a lot of the business schools, finance faculty, particularly, are looking into the startup to IPO. It's it's getting more and more people using it, particularly in Australia. Over the years, we have made the game. There's a lot of fun thing in the game, as Mike earlier mentioned. We have breaking news in the simulation. We have alerts. We can have live activity monitoring. We can have player disruptions, just to simulate the fact that one of the students or one of the learners or one of the business. Like for example, if your finance manager is out of sick day, can anybody cover his role, or will a company just roll over and die, with some of the key people missing? So this is kind of test their business acumen and also their teamwork. In MonsoonSIM, we have robots that you can assign to play against a human and against other robots. And also, the robots are good for a number of things. They can generate a lot of transaction. If you really want to just focus on the data to do data analytics, you can just put a bunch of robots there and let them run. And then you can use the data generated by the robot to teach data analytics if you care for the data, or you can just use it as a challenge to the students. Then over the years, we have increased a lot of concepts. As I said earlier, we started from very simple retail, and then we advanced into many concepts. For example, we have staff personality concept, we have asset maintenance, we have management reporting, fast-moving consumer goods, we have research and development to teach the effect of intangible assets, and then we have the crisis, we have integrated reporting, investments, renovation, sustainability, funding, and the last one was IPO. And this is the model, if you like, a bird's eye view. This is if you put everything together, then this is the business model. In MonsoonSIM, you can run with just a few block, a few modules, but you can then add on the modules, and then it all integrated nicely. So the same game can be extended dynamically into various functionality within the company. Okay, I'd like to talk about there's some of the new stuff here. There's the AI integration and then the business strategy game. I'll touch on the solo game and also the AI curriculum builder. Now, let's talk about the AI integration. First of all, almost everywhere you see in the latest version, there is this little guy called the boss that we call this RAI. It is really contextual AI. It is there to help you. So when you are performing a transaction, for example, if that little guy is showed up on that screen, you can just simply click that guy and then you can ask him anything. And he knows that you're looking at a particular screen and he knows that you are thinking about this particular function. So when you ask that, it is based on the context. So you don't really need to ask him too much. In fact, you can just click on it and say, what should I do? And then he will probably give you some good advice. But he's not going to make decision for you. The AI is trained to just guide you along and trigger your critical thinking, and it's not there to make a decision for you. So the AI is it's almost everywhere. I'll show you some screenshot later, and it is ready to help you anytime you need. Now, this AI you can also second to the student and help the student, or you can disable them, right? So it's up to the facilitator. Okay, so if you really want the student to learn from each other and also learn from the AI, you can just give them the access to the AI, and that little guy is going to pop up on the screen and help them along. And then the AI also not only help the student, but the AI also help the facilitator quite a lot, actually. So the AI is really there to guide you along as a facilitator. For example, you're not sure about your configuration. Then you ask the AI, am I doing it right? And what can I teach with this configuration? Let's suppose you do some configuration and you're not so sure. Are you able to teach what sort of concepts are we talking about? Then you ask the guy, and the guy is going to tell you, okay, for this particular concept, you can teach this, and this. And you have this AI facilitator assistant, which you can second to test the student. The AI is going to assess the student based on their performance and then report back to you how they're doing. So this is a new feature. So you can really save your time and just get the AI to test them, to quiz them. And each of them will get a different answer, and the AI is going to summarize them, plus also give the analysis of their answer. So if the answer is incorrect or irrelevant or copy from each other, AI will know and even can tell you. And then we put the AI all over the game in terms of the game element. So in the game, as you can imagine, a game like MonsoonSIM, we have things like vendors, we have bankers, we have transportation providers, we have clients, and we have investors. So these people, this agent, we call it, we give this element. In the past, they will be dealing with the student they come to the student in terms of they're like a very hard thought of empirical algorithm. Like, for example, if I meet certain KPI, then you extend the loan to me, right? For example, in the past. But with the advancement of technology, we can now put AI into this element. So for example, the vendor now is all powered by the AI. The banker is powered by the AI. So now when you deal with a vendor, it's almost as though you're dealing with a real live vendor. And you got to be reasonable, you got to be professional, and you have to be polite when you deal with the AI. So for example, if you're playing the game, if you feel that you need a discount, you ask the vendor, you got to be make sense. You have to be a bit professional. You can say, can we get more discount because I was your big customer? I recently make a big purchase to you. Can you extend a discount because I want to improve my bottom line? And the vendor is going to think about it and then will reply you, right? And see whether you get or not, right? It's all depending on the situation. So you cannot lie, you cannot cheat, you cannot game the system because they are also intelligent, right? So the vendor is now intelligent. So is the banker. If you want to get a loan, for example, in MonsoonSIM, you got to deal with the banker that is almost like a real life banker. You have to justify your loan. Why do you need the loan? And if they reject you, they will also tell you why, right? And then they will explain to you why you are rejected because your debt to equity ratio is not good enough. So and there's where you learn what is debt to equity ratio, right? Because you get rejected based on that. So this is how the student learn. Now you can learn through playing the game because there are all this intelligent element in the game. And then we have this new thing called business strategy game, and this is really good for capstone project and so on. Now you can actually design a strategy before even start your courses. So I show you the business strategy report that you can generate maybe way in advance. So before your semester start, for example, you can design your strategy, and then this strategy will come with all your the attributes of the game. For example, you'll be doing business in London, in Birmingham, in Manchester, and these are the attributes in London. And what is the population in London, the buying power, the GDP, the weather. So all this will be generated way in advance. You can do that, and it comes with the configuration and the product that you'll be dealing with, and it also comes with all the specification of the product, the finance specification, what kind of money that you will be dealing with, initial cash, for example, what kind of accounting system, is it accrual system or is it a cash system? What is the loan provider that you're going to loan? And it is a crisis. Will there be a crisis? Will you get any R&D opportunity? Can you invest in R&D? And we can give you customer survey that is suitable for you to do some analysis before you're doing business. For example, if based on this customer survey, if you find that in London there are people like certain juice, so maybe you should use that as to your advantage, right? And then marketing, and then we all even give you some of the trends that you'll be encountering when you play the game up in advance, and including all the vendor, the material, the machine specification that we will have, and so on. Okay, and also the what do you call it? The pollution, the energy usage, and the carbon footprint. So this is the new strategy game that you can create, and then you send it to the student in a link, and the link is unique, so all your students will get the link. You don't even need to print it out, and it comes with that, and then they can prepare for your course. Next, we have solo game. So in solo game, you can earlier there was a question about Carl had a question about solo game, asynchronous game. Yes, so now in MonsoonSIM you can play clock game in cohort base, and then they come in teams, and you control the timing of the tempo. But then you can also say, all right, now after this you guys can do it on your own. You can send them you can create a solo game out of a parent game, and you can send them away to do their solo. And a lot of people love the solo game. I can tell you because I know that there are so many solo game being run almost every day. And some of them, they spend hours doing the solo game. And I don't think they are just being forced to, but I think they just kind of really like the challenge. Okay, so the solo game is based on their tempo. They advance the game day by themselves. They feel that they're ready for the next day. They can click, and then they see the result, and so on. Then we have AI curriculum builder. Okay, so this is where if you're not sure how to integrate to your course, for example, you're new to MonsoonSIM, you kind of like it, but you're teaching existing course, you have existing curriculum. How are you going to integrate them? So you can use our AI curriculum builder. Okay, and it is very easy to use. We'll show you how you can use it. And then, so all in all, is that MonsoonSIM is now trying to become a business arena where you can send your student into the arena, which you configure, And the student in the arena, they can then learn through various things, right? They can learn through mistakes, they can learn through exploration and from each other and also from AI. So that is the vision of MonsoonSIM, where there's a big arena out there. Okay. And this arena is ever expanding. There will be more and more coming. There's more players, more agents, more elements in the arena. All right, so here are some of the people that have used it from corporate like SAP to again SAP to some university, the Michigan State and Mike himself and Penn State, Singapore, Illinois, Florida, and so on. Now, this is what I want to share is very important. If you like to have a free trial, just go to our website and you see the ready to try. Just click that, and then you'll get a free trial. And then it comes with a lot of video. You can try it out. All right, you can try it out with live students. Okay, so there's a free trial out there. Just go to www.monsoonsim.com and do a free trial. Now, how much time I have for the demo? A quick demo, maybe. Anissa?
Um, well, just under 10 minutes, if that's
Okay, under 10
possible.
minutes. Fine. So let's do a quick demo. I pre-recorded a few recording. In fact, they were done pretty recently. And the reason why I'm preparing those is so that I can see when you run in MonsoonSIM, this is the screen. So this is the teacher screen and this is the player screen. Sorry, this is the facilitator screen and this is the learner screen. So just very quickly to just show you. So this is the facilitators. These are the modules that you can turn on and off. And these are the parameter you can further configure. And then you have this, the player, this is the team. So there are 3 teams right now, and there are 5 players. They're in the team. And then this is the blue book. This is a very important guide. So if you click here, you can open up this guide, and it comes with a lot of information. We got step-by-step videos, and we got the background. We got all this 2 minutes video, 2 minutes. So if you go from video to video, all this video, you'll see you pretty much know how to configure the MonsoonSIM, okay, just from here. Okay, and just want to show you a few things. Number one is this guy, for example, is the AI that help you. As earlier I mentioned that, it is there to help you as a facilitator. So anytime you say, okay, what is going on now? Okay, let's say you don't, kind of lost. You just ask him what's going on now. And then he will look into your game, he'll analyze your game, and then report back to you about your game right now as it stands, right? Okay, so he will go check it out and then report back to you. So this is AI now. So he's telling you, okay, so this is game 1. You are the facilitator. Currently it's stopped. How many players? How many people? What is the configuration here? And then here, what is the next step? So you should do this, this, this. So he can help you along, right? If you need help. And then, of course, you can continue to ask the AI about, things like what can I do and what is going on? What is the meaning of this? What is the meaning of that? This is contextual. Now, there are also many AI that appears everywhere here. For example, as I said earlier, every time you open a page, if you see this guy, that means this guy is looking at this just like you do. So when you ask him and say, what am I looking at? He knows, right, that you are looking at this particular page and you kind of think of what you can do with it. So he will explain to you and guide you. Okay, so you say, all right, it seems that you're looking at this, auto allocate, and then this. So everywhere you see this, you can ask, yeah? Okay. Then we have things like the AI curriculum builder. Earlier, I mentioned the curriculum builder. So let's say you're not so sure how to integrate the MonsoonSIM into your curriculum. And then you can say, okay, how about I ask, let's say I want to teach, let's say, critical thinking. Oh, okay, introduction to managerial accounting. Okay. and the level is maybe the MBA level, professional level master, and how many meets, how many times you want to meet up. Let's say 4 times, maybe morning 4 hours, in the afternoon 4 hours, and so on. You can explain that to the AI, and then the AI will give you a giant prompt. So this giant prompt is now ready for you to copy, and all you have to do is to go to your own AI and send this prompt and get the answer. Okay, so we prepare all that for you, so you can now this prompt, this prompt already sort of explain to the AI that we support this sort of KPI and so on. So the prompt itself brings a lot of context to the AI. Now you can use your own Gemini, you can use Grok, whatever, and then it will come out to, you'll use the KPI in MonsoonSIM and give you the justification and the approach that it will also show you, maybe you should use this, maybe you should use that. Now this answer, it comes by two things. Number one is based on the context that we send there in the prompt. The other two is also based on the fact that ChatGPT or AI also understand MonsoonSIM more and more because of so many people using it. So they are becoming aware of what MonsoonSIM can do. So it really helps you to be able to design this. Okay, so for example, if you want to get a discount from the AI, I want to show you a video because I prepared a video there. So this video is about how MonsoonSIM has integrated AI into various games elements. In one of the elements is the vendor or the supplier. To show that, I need to go into one of the players. I'll pick myself. And this is my game page. Now imagine I'm running this game now on day 63. And I realize that I haven't got any discount from my supplier. I have two suppliers, BFG1 and BFG2. There's the negotiate button here. After having done much business with your company, it would be very nice if we could some discounts to further enhance our future buying powers. After submitting my request, I can see that this is the message that I posted, and I'm expecting the vendor to reply perhaps the next day. Currently, it's day 63. Next day, the vendor has approved. We get 20% discount for the purchase. 20% discount. So if I were to make a purchase from vendor 1 next time, I will be able to enjoy 20% for 6,000 units or more. So now if I buy slightly above 6,000, say 8,000, I should be able to get good discount, 20%. And that really helps my bottom line. Okay, so that is just a simple example of the game element that is now powered by AI.
I have a question.
Sure.
Yeah, what if the vendor is faced with an import tariff and has to increase price? So
that's right.
So
All right.
Instead of getting a discount, you're faced with a price increase.
Yeah. In fact, the AI can reject when you apply for the discount. Yeah, they have to reject. In fact, the AI is going to also take away the discount if you stop buying from them for a while.
The solo game, interesting. I'm going to explore it. But if I have like 100 students, then the quiz will automatically draw the data from their own results and then grade their quiz automatically, whether they get that calculation correct or not.
Yes.
That's doable, right?
Yes, that's doable. In fact, let me show you a video about ask the AI to actually do all that for you. I can help facilitator in assessing the learners through a quiz. Observe and score. I can go to score by boss. Again, boss is the AI here. I can set a boss quiz day. So currently it's on day 60. Say I want to quiz them on day 63. So on day 3, submit. Quiz has been scheduled for day 63, as you can see from the road sign here. Now, if this game run 3 days, 1 day, 2 days, and 3 days, we are in a state where it says here, boss quiz in progress. That means that the quiz has been generated by the AI for all the team members. Now, the question comes to team ABC, to the learner, Anybot, is this question. Given the increase in operating expense from day 53 to 63, what strategies can you, this company, implement to reduce its rental and salary expense without affecting store operation? So this question has been posted to Anybot, and the same question also has been posted to me, also working in this company. And for this team, XYZ, they have received a different question because they have a different financial test at that point. The AI actually look at their financial result and then post the question and create the question and post it to all the members of the same team. So every learner will get the answer. Now, I am now going to the learner page and answer this question. I got this quiz, and this is the same question that I saw earlier as a learner here. So I have to answer. I get an answer. We need to make sure we have fully utilized our store. At this point, it looks like have overflown in Jakarta through our purchasing to be more just in time. I post this answer. Now, I can see that the answer has been posted. You can ask the boss to analyze and score. So the boss has gone ahead and looked at each and every answer and assess the accuracy of the answer and provide a score. Not only that, it also gives the analysis of your answer. The answer suggests improving purchasing to be more just in time, which aligns with the need to optimize inventory management and reduce excess costs. However, it lacks direct strategy for reducing rental and salary expenses, specifically making it partially relevant but not fully addressing the question. So the boss then has given me 3 points out of 5. And to my teammate, they've got 1 star. I got 3 stars, but together we are average out because Anybot didn't answer and I answered. So as a team, we got 1.5 stars.
Okay, so that is how you can get the AI to quiz them, Johnny.